while our boat is out of the water, I'm going to take this time to start on our flooring. And here is the pile of flooring we were able to get out of the boat. Some of the stuff we're going to have to redo inside the boat. But I'm going to start going through this pile today and sanding it all down. Some are really good. Like this one's not even that badly messed up, but that one's horrible. So to get them to match, we're just going to take them all down and see what we can do. Hey, I'm Ashley, and this is my husband Colin. At the start of this year, we traded in our camper van and bought a 1991 50-foot sailboat. Come along with us as we experience the lows and the highs of sailing. First one I'm going to work on is already out here. It's the biggest one. And you can see the damage from the water on it. But let's see if we can get this looking like new. I also learned my lesson from working with old boat things in the mold. So safety first, and let's get started. Okay, that took longer than I thought. My battery even died, so I didn't get the whole time lapse, but it took me over 3 hours just to get the first coat off. And here's where we're at. It's looking pretty good. I wish I could keep it this color, but then it would not match the rest of our boat. I have to do another sand, and then hopefully I can try to get some of these watermarks out with something. I only have 45 more feet of boat to go. We're getting there. One I did was really easy, and I realized it had a different varnish on it than the first one. And you can tell this varnish is really thick, and this is the same as the first one, and it's not coming off as well. I already started sanding and it's not coming off. So these are taking a long time compared to the varnish I just did, which is really fast. And I hope more of them are like this bottom piece and not like this.
It's a new day.
It's a new day. We're back to working on the floorboards. We went and picked up some vinegar, and we're gonna spray it all over and clean the boards with it. Vinegar is good for stopping the rot in the wood, and the underside of the wood, there's a lot of rot. In the middle, like here, you can kind of see that it's still wet, which is weird.
We think, well, what I think. So what I think is that is the salt. It's actually salt water, because the salt crystals hold moisture. If you ever get like really good salt, it feels a little bit wet. I think that it is a boat in the ocean, and I think that it's probably salt water that's soaked into these, to this wood. So they're now baking. We have some of them baking in the sun. Sanded the varnish off. So Ashley's now vinegaring it.
Vinegaring?
Vinegaring it.
Is that a word?
I don't know.
I might try to get some of the water spots out with vinegar. We'll see. I'll test it on a little spot and see if it works before putting it everywhere. Just because there's 2 floorboards that were in the kitchen, that where the carpet was, they never took up the carpet, and it got soaked, and those are our worst ones. Let's see if I can do this without spilling, which I don't have much faith in.
You're beautiful. Thank her.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Well, I was doing good. It's just getting me started on this one, I guess. So I'll clean this one first. This is good to get the dust off anyway from the sanding. I am going to saturate the whole board with the vinegar and let it soak into the spots that have the water damage. And then I'm going to come back and wipe up all the leftover vinegar. Vinegar is already doing its job. I guess you can't really tell on here, but see how much lighter it is over here. Lightened up a lot compared to this corner. This actually doesn't look that bad anymore, which is nice. This one's still working away. Still see it's wet, but it's drying out nicely now. And then I went ahead, because the vinegar is like dripping on the other side, I went ahead and tried it on the front to see if it cleans it pretty well, and this one looks pretty good and it's not splotchy. I was worried about it being splotchy. And then when this dries out, we can go ahead and put a coat of varnish on it. And I just sprayed this one, and you can see all the water staining here that didn't come out with sanding, so hopefully the vinegar will pull some of that out. So we'll see. This was a really bad one also. I haven't sprayed it yet, but once I spray it, you're going to be able to see. So let me set you up so you can watch. So the vinegar is supposed to lighten the water stains, so we will see. And let it sit for a few days, and then we'll varnish it. I'm just soaking it right now so there's an even coat. I'm only going to do one coat because I don't want to lighten it too much. Now hopefully this is going to bring the water staining out. It started to rain outside, so I came inside to start another little project because we cannot finish the floors when the humidity is really high. We had our stanchion covers from when we bought the boat. We took them off and kind of forgot about them. But since we have nothing else to work on right now, I decided I should just redo them. We're nowhere near the boat. We live a few hours away from our boat. And there's a fabric store here in town. It's an outlet fabric store, but they carry a lot of sunbrella, but they do not label it sunbrella. So we took a guess, and we think this is what we have on our Dodger right now. Hopefully it's the same color. If not, it's like a little darker. I don't know if you can see. These are a little bit different, but we got both colors. But this is the same material as sunbrella. We're gonna go ahead and sew the stanchion covers to match. Hopefully when we get back to the boat, they match the color we already have, but if not, it's pretty close because I can't tell a difference right now.
Working on some stanchion covers. No, shroud covers.
What? You told me stanchions, so I haven't seen the stanchion.
Shroud. We had this shroud covers because they're the shrouds. So because we're working on shroud covers, I do know that we need to get some polyester based thread. I've never had this before, never bought it before. Trying this out for the first time on something that's not that big of a deal if the thread doesn't hold up. It's a beauty piece, but also technically can keep things from getting caught in them or accidentally adjusted. There's too much tension on them for that to happen. It's a big boat, it's not a small boat. I'm just sewing here while Ashley is cutting out the patterns. Thread is also very thick compared to what I'm used to, so it is causing knots quite easily. We're getting close to the limits of this machine. I can't pull this.
And a few hours later, they're done. They look so much better than the old ones did.
No
Happy?
more of that blue.
Finally got rid of the blue. The rain finally cleared, so I was about to get work on varnishing, finally varnishing all the boards. I have them all laid out, ready to go. But then I read the back of the can and there's a big warning on it about pregnancy, and you know, I'm not gonna risk anything. So I'm going to trust Colin with varnishing these boards, which is a big deal for me because I'm such a control freak. But hopefully he does good. And I also got a matte color because we want to make it a little more modern. But then on the back of the can, it also says start with the gloss and finish with the matte. Doesn't say that anywhere on the front when I bought it. Well, just like the gloss. So I have to go back to the store and get gloss now.
I am varnishing because Ashley can't. We are going to do a layer of gloss first to get rid of the wood grain texture, and then on top of that we're going to do a matte finish. So there's a little bit of texture, but also it's not going to be shiny, and hopefully when it's wet not be too slick. So I'm going to mix up the varnish now with some thinner and for the first couple layers, and then do the matte, but it's going to take a couple hours to dry. We have a majority of the floors back from getting refinished. This is the back side. So what I'm going to do before I put them back in is I'm going to clean the bilges and everything. There's a lot of dog hair and sand and just dirt in general. So hopefully everything lays flat and doesn't squeak. And then put all the floors back in, and then try to figure out why this AC doesn't turn on, because it's 92 degrees here in Charleston and it's hot. So I'm going to do some cleanup of the floors, then the countertops, get the AC running, and start on a new project after that. So another one checked off the list. Ooh, this area needs a deep clean. There's a couple pieces of wood that we forgot to take, like this one, this piece. We weren't able to remove this piece because the engine's here and you have to remove the whole settee sitting area. So we're gonna do that a different day or restore it in place. So there's one of the old pieces. There's one of the new pieces. While I picked the worst piece to show you, there's still a huge difference in the quality of the varnish. That this is completely down to bare wood and would rot out eventually, where this has been revarnished and sealed with essentially 5 layers, 3 layers of varnish, 3 layers of a matte protective finish. So it's should be good. First mistake piece. I think this goes. Hardware stuck out quite a bit when transporting, so I didn't want to gar up our newly finished pieces. So Ashley's going to finish up the refinishing of the hardware, and then we're going to bring it back another day and install it. Look at the difference. Now these were together, but you can see the difference in the old piece of wood. We have a little bit of rot here, a little bit of rot here we're going to address later. Need to get this piece out so we can match it to this. Last piece. You know what I'm already noticing? Not a single squeak when I walk around. Now that piece isn't screwed in, but no squeaks. This is amazing. This part squeaks a little. I may go and clean it again, but almost every single floorboard squeaked pretty bad, and I think it was from all the dirt and the wood just rubbing against each other. So far, big win over just the looks.